One of the biggest mistakes I made when I started my candle business was not thinking about my customer first. And honestly, when I look back, it kind of seems like I was just making candles for myself more than I was for anybody else. And the biggest reason for that is that I never had a clearly defined target market. In the beginning, I actually thought that my target market was just people who like candles. And then when I tried to get a little bit more specific, I added in women aged 25 to 50. Let me tell you, that is not a target market. It is way too broad. It's not specific enough. And it really left me in this kind of limbo zone of still trying to sell to everybody and feeling like I wasn't connecting with that many people because I didn't actually understand who I was selling to. In today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down my candle connection framework, which is a simple 4-step process to help you figure out who your target market is and build your business around serving them so that you can create a meaningful brand and make more sales. So if you've ever been stuck or unsure about who you're actually selling to and what is this target market and how do I know who my target market is, this is the episode for you, and I really hope that you get the clarity that you need. Welcome to episode 34 of the Candle Business Podcast. If this is your first time joining me here today, hello, my name is Erica, and I have my own candle business called Memory Box Candle Co. that I run with my husband, Chris. We also have a super energetic and curious 1.5-year-old that keeps me on my toes all day long. And on this podcast, I like to share everything that I've learned in my own candle business in the last 5 years. And today's episode is one that I am so excited to talk about because it's a big one. It is foundational and it has the power to completely transform your entire business. So I'm just going to jump right in and define what a target market is and why it's so important to have this defined for your candle business. So a target market is a specific group of people who are most likely to buy your candles. And the reason why it's so important to understand this and have this defined within your own candle business is because it's going to guide every single business decision that you make. When you have a clearly defined target market, you're no longer guessing. You'll know exactly how to reach your ideal customer and tailor every aspect of your business around them, whether that be your photography, your products, your messaging, and every single component to your brand, you're able to tailor to that specific audience. You've probably heard the saying that goes, if you're selling to everybody, then you're selling to nobody. And sure, if you're just creating candles and putting them out on the market, there will be people who will think, oh, that looks like a nice candle, I'll give it a try. But that's not really what we're aiming for. We're aiming for creating a product for somebody to where when they see it, they think, oh my gosh, I need that. Or, wow, that candle was made just for me. So, how do you make that happen? Well, this is where my candle connection framework comes in, and it's really there to give you kind of the step-by-step to figure out who your target market is. And it's what I used during my rebrand. So before my rebrand, I was kind of feeling like I had a vague, somewhat kind of understanding what my target market was to now fully understanding a detailed version of who exactly my ideal customer is. And I've tailored everything to them. I know what they value, I know what they care about, and I know where to find them. If you're thinking about starting a candle business, whether you're in the testing phase or you're preparing to launch, I have something that's going to make your life so much easier. It's my candle business launch checklist. This checklist will walk you through everything that you need to be thinking about and getting done before you launch your business so that you can feel confident and prepared. And the best part is that when you do download it, you're going to get my weekly emails that's packed with tips and advice and encouragement to help you along your candle business journey. So you can head to ericamariemorris.com/checklist to download yours right now. The framework is broken up into 4 steps. It's the what, the how, the who, and the where. Step number 1 is this. What is the value that you are bringing to your customers with your candles? Now, in a traditional business sense, the question is usually, what problem does my product solve? For candles, I think a better way to frame it is what value do my candles bring to my customer? Now, this can vary greatly from business to business. So it's not just the scent that you're bringing to somebody. Think deeper than that. Think about what would cause a customer or somebody looking to purchase my candles, what would cause them to actually make the purchase and choose my products over somebody else? The reason why this matters so much is because knowing what value your candles bring to your customer is very foundational. You're not just selling candles, you're selling something meaningful, something of value, a feeling, something for your customer that they're getting, whether or not it's subconscious or not, you're selling something other than just the candle itself. So you have to ask yourself, what value am I bringing to the customer with my candles? Why would they choose my candles over somebody else's? And when I was going through the process of my rebrand, I realized that I had a few areas of focus that I really wanted to highlight as the value of my candles. So I really wanted that nostalgic scent to memory connection. In my instance with my business, I'm really focusing on the future nostalgia, the feelings that they'll be able to have with the candle scent and creating memories around that candle scent. And I also highlight a lot of the home decor aspect, kind of the minimalism of my candles and kind of how it goes with all decor types. And then also the gifting component, because candles make really good gifts and that also adds value to the customer as well. When you get clear on the value that your candles bring, you're no longer just selling a product. You're selling something that's going to resonate deeply with your customer, and that's what's going to set you apart. Step number 2 is this. How do you connect more with your customers? The way to do this is to align your brand with a niche or a theme. So basically what you're doing is you're figuring out the value that your candles are bringing your customer, and then you're narrowing down your market to a specific niche or theme or passionate community of some kind to where you will be able to tailor that value or those values of your candles to that market and then be able to create products specifically for that market. So knowing this information is going to guide all of your business decisions. So you're no longer going to be questioning what kind of scents should I choose, what kind of label design, what kind of jar type, all the questions that kind of leave you feeling like there's so many choices, I don't know what to choose. When you know who you're making the products for, it makes the decisions way easier. For me, I chose to align my brand with the homemaker, homebody, a little bit of motherhood niche, kind of all blended in. I really wanted something to really evoke kind of the feelings of being home, somebody who loves being home. So that was my thought when choosing my target market. And then from there, I was able to tailor everything around that. So my photography style, the kinds of scents that I chose. So for instance, some of the new scents that I came out with was basil and lemongrass and cinnamon and honey butter. And those to me really kind of spoke that home, cozy kind of feeling that I knew that my ideal customer would really love. When you align your brand with a niche, you're able to have a deeper connection with your end consumer because it almost has this mutual interest involved. So they see something that they're already interested in and it's related to something that they already like, which is a candle. So they think, wow, that's a win-win. I love this certain niche and I love candles. When they're combined together, it's like this magic made in heaven and they become a loyal customer for life. Step number 3 is this: create a detailed customer avatar profile. So what I want you to think about is if I asked you to purchase a gift for somebody that you had never met, you didn't know anything about them, would you be able to get them a gift that they would like? Probably not. But if instead I gave you a list of a summary about them, what they like, what they do, what they value, their kind of day-to-day routine, you would have a much better understanding and idea of something to get them that they would enjoy versus the former where you had no information. That's exactly how you need to approach your candle business. You need to understand who they are inside and out in order to get that connection with them. Based on the value that your candles bring and the niche that you've aligned with your brand, now you can create a detailed description of who your ideal customer is. So if you think about, if I were to ask you, who would be the perfect person to buy your candles? Who would that be? As an example, I will read a little bit from my own customer avatar profile. Jenna is 34 years old, a homemaker, and a mom of 2 kids under 7, with plans to have a third within the next year. She's thoughtful, nurturing, and a little nostalgic. She's the type to scroll through old baby photos of her kids on occasion before she falls asleep at night. Jenna loves baking, gardening, and small DIY projects. She's lived in a suburb just outside of Houston, Texas, her whole life, and her home is her favorite place to be. While it's not always perfectly tidy, her space is filled with minimal decor, neutral tones, a mix of warm and cool shades, greenery, and family photos on the walls. Jenna loves entertaining and enjoys hosting friends and family for dinner and games every other Friday night. Do you see how specific that is? It is night and day from women aged 25 to 50 who like candles. This level of detail has made all the difference in my own business. It has helped me with everything. I know I keep repeating that, but I hope you see the pattern here, that once you get specific on who you're selling to, all of your other questions for your business decisions just start to make sense and they start answering themselves. Step number 4 is this. Where can you find your ideal customer? Now, this is the last step of the framework, and it really helps to tie everything together because you've already figured out what value your candles bring, what niche you're going to align your brand with, and a detailed description of your ideal customer. And from there, you're able to really dive in and figure out where are you going to be able to find them, both online and in person. Because here's the thing, you want to be able to meet your customer where they're already naturally hanging out or where they spend their time. So whether that's at local events, wineries, bookstores, specific influencer pages, if we're looking online, specific Facebook groups, there is a huge wide range of different places that your specific customer could be hanging out. And you just need to figure out, based on the information that you know about who your ideal customer is, you can now think to yourself, where would they be spending their time? Where are they drawn to? Where can I find them? For me, I know that my ideal customer, which is my Jenna avatar that I've created, I know that she loves Pinterest. She loves homemaking tips. She loves looking at recipes and home decor inspiration and trying to figure out if she should renovate certain parts of her home or if they should just focus on getting another house. There's all these different things that she's thinking about. And for me, I need to get myself in front of her, and the place to do that is on Pinterest. So that is what has caused me to completely shift my focus on my marketing a little bit more away from Instagram, which I spent a lot of my time just putting up posts over the years, just hoping that people would see my candles and want to buy them. And now, even though I'm not really directly as focused on Instagram, I still do have a better strategy on Instagram than I did, but I'm going 100% into Pinterest because I know that's where my ideal customer is most likely going to be. The best part about this step is that you don't have to spread yourself too thin and try to be everywhere at once. You're really trying to just be intentional about the places that you are so that you can get yourself in front of your ideal customer. You may find that your ideal customer is your local community. Maybe you are making candles that are really connecting to the members of your community, and you need to be out there at local markets every weekend and really connecting with those customers. It's all just a matter of who you're trying to connect to so that you can figure out where to find them and really spend your time there. Look, I know how hard it is to spend all of your time with creating your products, not to mention the testing process. But once you get past the testing process and you really start to think about the business side of things, I know how overwhelming and confusing it can be to think, okay, well, I got to have how many different scents? You almost start to think about all of the wrong questions or thinking about the questions in the wrong way. Instead of thinking, how many different scents should I have? You should be thinking, what kind of scents would my ideal customer really love? And go that route. And that is really the whole basis of this framework. That's why I created this, is because I really wanted to give you something that you can utilize and really take and implement in your own candle business. And I'm also working on an entire course that goes through this framework in a lot more detail. And it's something that is hopefully going to be out within the next month or so. I'm going to be actually doing a pre-sale on it, and I'm going to teach it live to just a certain select group of people. So if you want to get on the wait list for that, you can go to ericamarieMorris.com/CC waitlist. And I will give you all of the updates on when the course is going to be ready and when I'm going to have it available if you want to join me live and learn the course live and be able to ask questions and have that direct feedback from me. But I think I'm going to end today's episode right here. I really, really, really hope that you got value from today's video. I promise you, I spent so much time trying to put this into words. I knew that when I was going through my rebrand that I was following this, but to be able to put it into words and a framework was a little challenging, but I hope that I clearly stated how you can go from not knowing who your ideal customer is or your target market all the way to having a clear understanding of who they are and how to find them in order to sell your candles to them. And with that, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in this episode. I feel like this episode took me a lot longer to film than my previous ones, and I'm so thankful for Chris for hanging out with our son outside over the past hour and a half. When I get really passionate and excited about something, I really want to come off as very clear, and I have to kind of tone back my excitement over it because I just know it's going to help so many of you out. So I will definitely see you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Candle Business Podcast. I hope it encouraged you as you move forward in your own candle business journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, or if you've been loving the podcast, I would appreciate it so much if you could take just a few moments to give the show a rating and maybe even a written review so that it can help reach more aspiring business owners just like you. And always remember to spend every day working towards a life that your future self will be proud of.